on the beat.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Anna D, and I am here for your next episode of More to Life podcast. Yeah. Why is this always a thing with y'all? Like, if y'all see my dog jump in and out of here, don't mind him, okay? Anyhow, so we are here with the next episode of More to Life podcast. And okay, I promise y'all, I don't intend to always just like have my sisters on the podcast,
Right.
but it just kind of works out that way with the things that need to be talked about and discussed. So that's what we gonna do. So I have my very own. Not only is she my big sister, but she the oldest geezer.
I'm gonna behave.
It's my girl Letrice. Say what's
Hey,
up,
what's
girl?
going on? What's happening?
What's happening? Anyhow, y'all. So this is a next episode of More to Life, and of course, y'all know if you know me, you know me. I do have a lot of people I know. I have a lot of connects, all sorts of things, but I don't care about that. I don't care about who's popping, who's this, who's that. I want people who gonna keep it real, people who gonna spread some knowledge, and and that's what I have in my sister because she's somebody who has a lot of things that she can share about life, and that I've leaned on a lot about things that my other siblings and her other friends have leaned on, and I just feel like it's just something that we need to hear and talk about. Now, let me just make a disclaimer. If you can see anything weird about my lip, it's because my dog decided to be a little extra and a little crazy. Like I said, he just do too much and he can't live outside of my skin.
Coda.
And he just got too excited and he big old head hit my lip.
Bless you.
But the show must go on, okay? The Lord made me pretty anyway. It's
Aw.
gonna have to make it do what it do. So go ahead and judge your
That's
mama.
just
not
what it
me. I'm
is.
just
Life goes on.
life goes on. Period. So let the people know your name and then like where they can follow you and kind of like what are some of like your hobbies that you like to do.
I don't have many hobbies these days, but I am, as y'all know, Chanda Vaz, but you can follow me on Instagram, which is _Chanda with a C. HANDAVAZ_. That's my Instagram if you want to follow me on Facebook. You know, for the older folks out there, I don't know. You can look me up from Sean Letrice, okay?
There go mommy and daddy.
Mama, daddy, grandma, granddaddy, auntie.
Right.
No shade, you
No
know,
shade, no
because they
shade, no
call me
shade.
old, so it's okay.
She about to be 40.
I'm done.
Okay, guys. So this episode, y'all know me. I just jump straight into it, and I got some advice from one of my viewers. Like, you have so much to talk about, but we want to get to the nitty gritty. So guess what? I'm gonna keep getting to the nitty gritty. Okay. So this episode is called "A Woman's Work." Ain't that something?
It's gonna be something.
Yeah. On her head. On her head. Okay. So in this podcast, I'm going to ask her a series of questions. Obviously, y'all know how I get down. We're going to answer the questions and also have things in our faith and that God has shown us through our teachings by reading the Bible and things we've learned through our pastors, leaders, parents on how we've made certain decisions, changes, and whatnot. Okay. So you ready?
I'm ready as I can get, you know.
Yeah, I done pulled her in front of the camera, y'all. My sister used to stay out of the limelight, but I done dragged her back over here. She be saying it for real, but I done dragged her out. I did.
Jesus.
I did.
It's okay.
And did.
It's fine.
Cause yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so my first question for you is so you are single, married, engaged. What is your status?
Now I am happily married.
Period.
It's about to be 2 years. I got married July 16th, 2022. So yeah, it's about to be 2 years
It's about to be
this
2
year.
years. Dang,
Time
I don't
is
know why I feel
flying.
like it's supposed to be longer.
I've been with him longer. Y'all known him for a minute, but
Nick, I did that for you, Nick. I didn't say the full thing, but I did it for you, Nick. I did that for you.
Special request.
Special request to my boy. Okay, so about 2 years. So you were in your 30s when you got married. So how did you establish yourself in life being single in your 20s? Because I'm single in my 20s.
Yeah, you
And
are.
I don't like it. I mean, I'm doing what it do. Like, don't get me
Right.
wrong. I love my life,
Uh-uh.
but I'm thinking about 20s and I don't like it. So how did you do that? Like, how did you cope? What were some changes? Like, what was like?
I'm gonna start with this. My early 20s, honestly, it wasn't just me wanting to be married, but I had to
Right.
realize you still gotta get yourself together.
Mhm.
Because I thought I was ready
Mhm.
because of what I saw outside of that. Even like in my mid 20s, my friends would get married, get in a house.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, like,
What is my
no, it's 22. Okay, no, 25. No,
no?
28. All right, now I'm almost 30. What's
Lord,
going on? Like, what? Do
Lord.
you not like me? Like, what do I need to do? But no, in all seriousness, I had to understand, like, Chanda, you may want this, but you have to prepare yourself,
Okay.
especially internally. When it come to my maturity,
Mhm.
there were things it's like, okay, I can do this. I know I can do this as a wife. I
Right.
know I can do this as a wife. You know what I'm saying?
Like
And
you're
it's
checking off. Like, okay, I know I have wifely material, my
right,
wifely characteristics,
right.
but what's not clicking, Steven? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no,
Like,
for real.
right.
Like I'm waiting for my check and it still
Right.
didn't come. That's
Right.
how I
I've
felt.
been working. I ain't got no
Yeah,
check. I
like
don't
what's
like that.
going on? I'm really
I feel broke.
broke. I'm broke as all get out.
I'm broke.
So I had to realize I had to stop looking at everybody else
Mhm.
and had to see, okay, what do I need to do? I stayed busy. Of course, I was more into the music.
Right.
I was doing more gigs, so that kept me going,
Mhm.
especially like corporate gigs, weddings,
Right.
studio.
Right.
I always, like you said, I stayed in the background. A lot of people don't know, I did a lot of things in the background when it came to helping other artists,
Yeah.
doing demos,
Yeah.
helping folks with harmony, just vocal stuff, even if it
Mhm.
was like vocal lessons for people
Or
who
even it was
had
like
it, but
reference tracks. Like you would
yeah,
get
yeah,
on the
yeah.
track to reference to another artist.
Exactly.
Right.
Especially if they just not hearing it. So an engineer or producer be like, all right, Sean.
I'm telling y'all right now, we be in praise and worship practice. I'm like, Shauna, what's my note?
No. You like, Sean, I'm gonna let you
I'm
I'm
like,
gonna
do
let
my
you do
note,
it and
jump
I'm
in
gonna
it, and then I'm
jump
gonna
in.
jump in with you.
What is it? Double dutch? I don't understand. Like, what are we doing? And this is your note. I need you to hold
I'm
it.
like, what is it?
Because I can't do both.
Listen, y'all,
I'm
I
not Layla
can
Hathaway.
sing, but I'm not her. Tell me my note, and I promise you, I'm gonna
She'll
hold it
hold the
down.
key. As
I'm
long
gonna
as you
hold it
tell
down.
her.
Just tell me what my note is.
Because she'll look at me like, mm-mm.
I'll be like,
I don't get it.
I don't hear it.
I need you to catch it because I'm really about to turn it to a
Cause,
vocal
cause
coach and you
right,
got to
I'll be
make me
like,
mad.
thank you.
But no, for real, I had to stay busy in certain things I like to do. So I know you asked about my hobby. My hobby was being in the studio
Right,
and doing music.
right.
I used to do things where I could write, but I've had a writer's block for years. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
pray for me.
No, for real.
But there's seasons for certain things.
You're right.
So yeah, that's what I had to do. I had to stop looking at the outside. That was my main
So
issue.
how did you get yourself from looking at it? Because obviously I know there's a lot of women out here, regardless of
Oh
siblings,
yeah.
friends, whatever,
Oh yeah.
especially in the world of social media. And I know people was tripping when social media went down
Oh
and when
yeah.
people's phone lines going down. I'm letting y'all know, like
Right.
my pastor been warning people, y'all better get your stuff together. I'm gonna go ahead and make this
Yeah.
disclaimer right now.
Yeah.
Courtesy of my pastor, y'all been seeing other prophets and things like that say it, but my pastor has been saying this since the last year.
Right.
Y'all need to get y'all some money out. Get you some,
Get some
stack your
cash.
water, get some cash out, pay your credit off, pay any credit cards
Uh-huh.
off, and get some non-perishable items because y'all see that the other day, randomly all the lights went out in my neighborhood. The Instagram, Facebook down one day. AT&T services is out.
Yeah,
Like y'all
just
just need to. It's
randomly.
random stuff going on.
No
There's
warning.
random sicknesses coming on. That's like a mixture of the flu and corona. They don't even know what to call it. So in case y'all haven't been peeping, or they like to keep things under wraps. I know people personally
Mm-hmm.
who have just been literally falling weak
Yeah.
because of the random things that's going on.
I used to
So,
see it all
right.
where I was.
That was just a
Grady.
disclaimer. Thank you, Pastor T. So in the midst of you having to be like, okay, let me stop looking at everybody else. How did you do that? Because it's easier said than done, right?
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
especially like for me, I'm around my siblings all the time and I'm not unhappy for anybody, right?
Right.
But
You
it's
love
still like
love.
I
You're
love
support.
I am
Y'all don't get it wrong. She's a big supporter. Let me tell y'all, she be behind the raps when it comes to surprises, engagements, when it comes to parties. Like, it's not like she a hater.
I'm
We
not a
never
hater.
been a hater.
I never
But
did.
it can get discouraging
Right.
when you're like, okay, I know who I am as a person.
Right.
I know who I am as a woman of God.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we was in the world now, and that's a whole nother story, but
Right.
we
We
knew who
still
we
had our
are.
foundation,
Yeah,
yeah.
we have a foundation just from what we grew up in. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? From what we saw, good or bad, whatever.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, dang. And like you said, it's hard already, the social media. it's like, even people I don't know, okay,
Especially
that's
when I'm
sweet.
like, you be around people who don't do right by their partner.
Yeah,
So it's like, how you around here got somebody who ready to fight for you,
yeah,
and the person I've been fighting for and fighting with is just dismissing me to the left.
right.
So how were you in your 20s, early, mid, late, whatever that pivotal point was for you to be like, okay, how were you able to block out the noise of everything else going around you to be like, okay, let me focus on Shonda. Let
Mhm.
me figure out like how were you able to just make that switch? Like what was that? Did you have to have a talk with yourself? Did you have to pray? Like what was it
I
for
had
you?
to pray,
Mhm.
especially the later it got in my 20s. I had to pray harder. Let me
Mhm.
tell you that.
Right.
It was still a struggle here and there because it's like, okay, I'm okay. I think I'm okay. And then another sorts of events happen. Or I'm singing at another wedding, or I'm another bridesmaid. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right,
I'm sick of this.
I'm sick of that. Like, I don't like it.
I don't like
I
it.
don't like it. But
Right.
at the same time, I just had to keep focusing on me. I had to keep praying. You know, when I was dipping and dabbing church and in the world, of course, I had my roster now. I'm gonna keep it on. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it a book.
Zerasta.
You know, but that showed me like, Shawty, you're not ready
Yeah.
because you felt like you always had to. Don't get me wrong. I had my days where I was literally by myself. I
Yeah.
didn't have to have nobody around. But now if a guy asks me for on a date or hang
You felt
out
like
or
you had to take
yeah,
it
it's like
on.
okay, I'm gonna see because he might be my husband, you know.
You sound
Or I
like
used
me.
to go off of, I don't want to say,
Everybody ain't our husband.
Negroes in my ears. I'm like, oh, you my wife, you my wife. And I'm like, oh, really? Oh, let me find out, see if God really told you that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I had to sit back and be like, focus on you. It took a lot of prayer.
Right.
Prayer.
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
Mhm.
Prayer. At the time, I do need to get back on this. I had a journal. I used to write
Mhm.
like how I felt that day. I might
Mhm.
be good one day, then the next day I'm really like, I'm never gonna get married at this point
Yeah.
because I'll never forget that day. Shout out to Pastor Randy. Rest in heaven to him. I remember he prophesied to me and told me, yeah, I was in my 20s. He said in 13 years. First of all, wait, 13.
Well,
What's going on with 13 years? I'm in my 20s. 13 years, what? And you telling me I'm
yeah.
gonna find my true happiness in my
What?
husband at
What?
13? I almost have, yeah, water. Water. Give me my water because I'm about to pass out. Because ain't no way. You gonna tell me the exact years
That I'm going to get married.
that I'm gonna get married
And that
and
happened
be
though.
truly happy within myself. And when that
Because it
time come,
wasn't
I
just
had to,
happy with a man. You
yeah,
was happy with you.
I had
Yeah.
to be fully happy by myself.
Right.
I can't keep looking for everything in everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, something ain't right. Like, but I couldn't go against what God showed him.
Yeah.
But still, me and my
In
feelings
our flesh,
in our
which is
flesh,
natural. Don't
exactly.
ever guilt
Yeah,
trip yourself. Obviously, check yourself. We get mad at God, but you need to repent to Him because obviously He
yeah,
always does things for us for our good.
right.
But there is this moment where you get in your flesh and be like, "But why I gotta wait?
Yeah, I'm
Like
like, I
why
seen
everybody
all
else?
these
Why you
these
making me
women
wait?"
doing the same thing I'm doing. Not everybody now. Everybody, some people is really doing what they were supposed to do, and this is what it's a season
Right,
for everybody. And I had
right,
to learn that.
right.
But when I got that word, I was like, ain't no way.
I would have been ready to squabble. But I mean, you
Hmm.
remember when Pastor Randy did the same to me? What
Yeah.
he never gave me like a number date. So I feel like for me it's like I'm kind of in this gray area, but he did tell
Hmm.
me like, until my focus 100% on God and I'm using this as something to let you guys know,
Hmm.
the one thing that you yearn the most for that you may not even know you're yearning for more than God, you're not going to get it
Oh no.
until you put God first,
First.
foremost, and always. Like you can't put him first this week and he put somebody in your area and then you just drop him off and start putting more attention to that. Because
That's.
nowadays I could be in a
Hmm.
situation and nothing can happen. I mean,
Yeah.
everything could be perfectly fine. No arguments, no disagreements,
Right.
no issues, and then I just not hear from them. And at
Yeah.
that point in my life, I'm like, okay, this just must be God saying no.
Yeah.
This ain't it.
Because it
You know
don't
what I'm
always
saying?
have to be nothing
It don't have to
toxic
be
or no
nothing toxic. But
issue.
it didn't even I didn't even get a chance to have a conversation.
Right.
So I feel like at that point, because God knows that I'm so understanding
Yeah.
that God gonna deal with different people different ways.
Right.
And for me, he like, you're not gonna get it till somebody just flat out don't say nothing to you. So
Yeah.
he has to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It don't mean I intentionally will put God to the side,
Hmm.
but God knows our hearts the most. So if we're
Hmm.
unintentionally spending more time with a person than we are in our word,
Oh, definitely. That's why half of these fools I used to deal with before my husband. I love you, husband. But they weren't consistent. I would deal with them for years
right.
and years. And I'm like, you still here and ain't nothing
and
happening.
nothing's going on.
You ain't made no moves.
Right.
All you doing is this.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I hear you, but I'm
But
ready to go out the other ear at this point because ain't no way I'm about to play with you at this age. So
it's just not going to happen.
it's not
So
happening.
obviously, you were in your late 20s when
Mhm.
you had my niecey Pooh Brooke, who made the beat that be on the back of these
Shout out to Brookie
podcasts.
Cookie.
How did you then establish yourself, as in a woman's work? How did you work on yourself as a woman going into this next step of mommyhood? Because you was what, 26, 27 we have?
26.
You was
pregnant.
my age now. I would lose it. Oh
That
my
girl would
gosh.
cry
I
herself to sleep every night if she found out she was
I
pregnant.
would lose it. I can't even fathom. I can't even bring the words. So how did you like reestablish your mindset, your movement, your your goals, your priorities? How did you do that once you stepped into a new work of womanhood as being a mommy? I should think about that. Cause she's still Brit still to that day be do.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. No, for real. I'm not gonna lie. I was still trying to figure it out. Because they feel like just because you're a mom, you just got it all together.
Right.
No.
Right.
Because at that time, I was still trying to get things in order.
Right.
Shout out to her dad. Ain't no ill will with him, but it wasn't intentional,
Right.
clearly. But once I got pregnant, I knew certain things were gonna have to change.
Right.
Especially when it came to my priorities. Because of course I can't think about Chanda first no more.
Right.
Especially when it came to dating men or hanging out with certain friends.
Yeah.
Especially those who don't have children. They're not gonna
Did you feel like
understand.
your actually I'm gonna get to that next. I was about to ask you about your friend group, but we're gonna get to that next. Keep
Oh,
going.
yeah, that's child. But it's just I had to change my focus in that area when it came to priorities first.
Right.
Especially like my faith in God, of course, that was wavering because hey, I got pregnant.
Yeah.
I don't judge anybody who's had children out of wedlock or before they got married. It happens. I had to deal with shame. Especially when I was in the ministry, real heavy. I was in the ministry, on the praise team, doing all that, being with some of the praise leaders and things like that. Even when I did my ministry outside of my own church, it was a lot. But I had to realize, Chanda, God may have forgiven you, but you got to forgive yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You out here just stressing yourself out for what? It's done. You pregnant now. Y'all, I'm tell y'all
So
something.
do you feel like that kind of took you, like, did it like kind of discourage you in a sense?
Oh yeah. I mean, that also had me, I set myself down for about 8 years. I ain't sung since I found out I was pregnant at that time.
Right.
As you know, when the last time y'all saw me sing
For real,
in church, for real, doing my ministry, what I was
Right.
called to do.
Something
bring
that's
people
naturally born to do too.
Yeah,
Like,
it was years. So that was just also something with me still going back and forth. But at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna just do it because people want me to do it. I had to make sure this is the time to do it. But it wasn't just because I had a baby. It was you have to know that you are ready to get back in this, and you can't be
so what's
in and out.
something that you can advice that you can give to mommies who've had children at a wedlock? Like what's some kind of like piece of like advice, something that somebody can hold on to really ground themselves? Because naturally, when we make mistakes, especially when you're trying to be in certain right standing with God, God will have been forgave us. But again, like we will be sitting in an open cage. Like we be in a cage and the door wide open and God want us to walk out, but we still sitting in our own cage. So what is something that you can kind of get somebody, like obviously is some people can jump right out of it and some people may need more time. So like right. So what is it that you need them, like that you would advise to those people?
I will say this, I'm just be real. Like you said, some people can just be like, all right, I'm gonna brush it off, get back right. Some people take a minute to do so. But I feel like take it a day at a time. Don't force it.
Right.
But at the same time, don't sit there and keep trying to make an excuse after excuse, because that's what I did. Keep making excuse. That's kind of like procrastination.
Right.
I got beat up for that plenty of times. And I'm just now.
I be on her head too.
I'm just now like, because I know I can do it. It's just, I would talk myself down. I would dim myself like, it's a lot of people doing this. Or oh, if I fail, I had to learn it's okay to
The
fail.
fear.
Yeah, it's okay to mess up. Just hold yourself accountable, dust it off.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Aaliyah said, I ain't trying to be in the world and it's just like, hey, dust yourself off and try again.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Or
Right.
like Donnie McClurkin said, we fall down, but what?
But we get up.
Exactly. So,
We fall
this is not karaoke time.
and we
See, this is what I deal with
get
every day. We're going to be real.
We
She going to find a song
fall
out of any
and
situation.
we get up.
Mhm.
I remember the next part, but the note too high. So
For a saint is just a sinner who fell down.
told y'all effortless, and I'm over here like,
And what?
got up.
Hallelujah. Anyway.
Yeah,
Sha-ta-ta. All right, from Everlasting Life Ministries.
My name is Juanita from Everlasting Life Ministries. I work in some more life
Look, let me tell y'all
podcast.
something. Y'all see that play? That jump was funny. I said she reminded me of Whitley from A Different World. If some of y'all know, people her age don't know nothing about that show, but God bless them.
Heard about it, never watched it.
Sad.
I'm showing my age.
Sad case. But anyway.
So basically, you just tell me. I mean, that really is good advice. Just in anything in general, take accountability, own it, but then don't dwell in it. Because that used to be my issue, even with dating. Something would go wrong, and it be 100% not my fault. And I'm around here like,
I got this AirPod in. You tell me sorry. It's okay, y'all. Anyway,
but I would be like with dating, like I would be nothing to be my fault, and then somehow I would be dwelling in something so sad for so long. I'm not gonna date. I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm not gonna do nothing. It's just like, if that's the decision you want to make for you, okay, but don't be sitting around here sad. For what? Like, it happened. Things happen. Like, take accountability on what you could have done. Right.
Time is not gonna stop.
Right.
So if you're just gonna keep sitting there like, oh, it didn't work out this time. Oh, I got pregnant. Anything. Oh, I lost this job. Oh, I tried to get into this, but I wasn't picked. You know, we always have this pick me type deal. And it's like, you can't be like that, because what's for you is what
for you, and what's not
is not.
Right.
And that's just what it is.
So, and in comparison to how you dealt with stuff that wasn't for you before, how do you deal with stuff that's not for you before, and how do you handle it now?
Then, in my immature days, I would feel some type of way. I'm not gonna lie.
You be quick to be like, I feel a type of way.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, I do this with my friends. And they be like, Chanda, you be too in your feelings. I said, so what do you want? You want me to be quiet?
Right. You want me
and
to
hold
lie?
on to it? Or you want me to be real with you? You know what I'm saying? So I had to be real myself. It's like, I really would feel some type of way. I'd be like, well, why not me? Right. You know how you have these type of situations or ideas, and it's like, dang, I know I got what it takes, but it's like, dang, you chose this person over me.
Right.
But why? You know what I'm saying? And I would feel, but now,
so tell me what
exactly, and that's just what it is. Like, but now at this age, this big age of mine, you know, the older I get, I had to, it's like, hold on, I just shrugged my shoulders, shrug it off. It's like, all right, what's the next move? Right. Because clearly this didn't work. So, whatever.
What can you do now?
Yeah, I can't do nothing about it. What I'm gonna do? Put a gun to somebody's head? Right. And tell them, give me this spot?
Give me that?
No. All right, Chris Brown. All right, Chris Brown. All right. Yeah. Anyway.
It's a Christian podcast. Let me stop with this.
I'm trying to tell you now. This is all.
I'm letting y'all know I got songs for everything. It plays in my head rent free. Okay.
Tragic.
Sorry.
Tragic.
Okay. So in comparison to like your friends, like how did your friends group change? Like, how did it change and why did it change? And disclaimer: if you are one of her friends, former friends, old friends, future friends, don't get upset by anything you hear, because at the end of the day, this is her story and she could tell her how she feels too. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their experience, their feelings, and their perspective. Okay? So, again, friends, how did they change? Even if it was a couple years ago, then like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and now. Like, how did they change? How did your friends change? Because right now, I got like 2 friends, and then y'all.
That's me too. What you mean? I got one. Let me tell y'all something.
Aside from my sisters in Christ.
Right. I thank God for this one main friend that's been A1 since day one. Especially in my young 20s up till now. She's still here. It's never changed on me. Shout out to April. You know what I'm saying?
She be singing it too.
Yeah, she be singing now. You know what I'm saying? I be scared to sing with her sometime. I be like, man, that's not for me. This is for you. You know, this is your song. But anyway, then and I already knew you was gonna look at me. But I feel like then it also came with growth, maturity.
Yeah.
You know, trying to hold on to stuff. I had to learn. Some friends are gonna be here for a season, and some are gonna be here for a lifetime.
Right.
Whether you did something to where they had to fall back from you, or they did things and you feel like I've been this loyal, I always had your back, and you do me like this. And I had to realize, like, in certain stages in life, they might have stuff going on, and then I might have stuff going on to
Right.
where I can't even, life have to go on. And I was the type of person, I want to hold on to friends that I've had for years. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I can't even do that. You can't force it. Let's just say that.
Right.
And there are certain friends that I had in my past. It was just like, look, I can't do that right now. You know what I'm saying? So now I have friends who are on my level. You gotta stick with friends who are godlike, who aren't into negativity, who are just as encouraging as you are. No matter what you're going through, you have friends that's literally gonna be there for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I had to learn that big time.
Right.
And I've had certain friendships where it was like, okay, we fell out once. All right, we try again. We fall out twice. A little shaky. No. Like, we already had this conversation.
Right.
And it's like, if you can't be real with me, and just like, if I can hold myself accountable, hold yourself accountable. Everybody is human.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. A real friendship is not going to be peaches and cream every day. Don't mean you have to be fake about it. Y'all ain't got to fight to where it's like, oh, I really don't fool with her. Like, she did me dirty.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to be able to have that conversation. Just like us, like sisters. I'm like, look, you pissing me off. So
yeah, we ain't gonna be perfect.
Let's just talk about this later, because it's not going.
We're not
the right
We're not
way.
on the
It's
same
going
page at
left.
that moment.
You know, don't get it twisted now. Me and my sisters, we are like this. We don't play about each other, but none of us are perfect.
Right.
You know, we all have our own personalities. We all have our own attitudes. We all have our own perspectives, our beliefs in certain things. You know, we have some sisters who have kids and then some who don't. So we all gonna have different outlooks on certain situations. So I've learned it took a lot of growth too. Let's just say that when it came to my friendships. Like, some friends now I don't talk to this day. I wish them the best. And we don't even claim each other as friends, but that don't mean I hate anybody. But then the friends I have now, they're here for a reason. Right. And there are some who's been here and is going to stay. We don't have to talk every day, because sometimes that comes with maturity too. Just because you don't talk to me every day, that don't mean we're not friends. Right. So we can pick up where we left off.
And keep it pushing from there.
And keep it pushing. So that really made a difference with me from then and now. It's really my maturity and my growth. Right. And certain things I had to learn, like, look, if you feel like it's shifting, let it be.
Yeah, let it go.
I'm not gonna sit there and try and force you to talk to me, hang with me. It's, I used to have issues like that too. Like, oh, you can hang with them, but you can't hang with me. Like, what is up with that? Then if I feel like it's a repetitive thing, okay,
you realize, I'm gonna let you do it. Like, I can talk to you, but I'm not gonna keep.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's the same thing as a relationship. It's not gonna be one sided. Exactly. Like, I'm not gonna be 110 down for you, right? Calling you, checking on you, trying to find stuff for us to do, and I'm getting the black back end. I see how you move with other friends and other guys, and I don't get the same energy. Do what you got to do. Yep. Just don't come looking for me when you need me. I'm good. I'm good. No love lost. I love you. I see you when I see you, and I'm gonna hug you, and I'm gonna give you a hug.
And that's just that.
And that's just that.
But other than that, I'm good.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to pivot. So how did you establish yourself in dating? Right, so we obviously talked about how you took time and you had to be like, okay, I'm not gonna date, da 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 da. But when you kind of got yourself together and you was like, okay, now I know me, now I know what I want from me, what I'm gonna deal with, what I'm not gonna deal with. How did you like establish yourself in dating? Like, what was the work you made as a woman, setting your boundaries and sacrifices you had to make too to compromise, whether somebody was worth making sacrifices, somebody was worth the compromise, somebody was worth the work? How did you do that?
Well, I'm gonna start with Brooke's father. You know how you feel like you want to have that family foundation with the father of your child, mother of your child. In some cases, I'm not speaking for everybody. This is just for me. Right. Especially if they're not a bad person, but it can't be one-sided with that either. One can be ready, one may not be ready. Right. Whether it's communicated or not. So pretty much fast forward into that. Once I realized he wasn't ready, okay, I had to get out of that heartbreak first. And I couldn't be in this phase where I feel like, oh, ain't nobody gonna be ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As soon as I seen one inkling of an issue, it's like, all right, I can't even fool this fool. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, because no, you wasting my time. But going into dating in my door before I got engaged and all that good stuff, I had to make sure I was ready to even get back out there to
Yeah.
have a purpose, not just going out because it was something to do. Because
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, there were times I was just going out because it was something to do. Oh, I'm baby free, you know, because at this time I had my child. It's like, okay, so I'm baby free. I'm gonna go out because he asked me to go out. Free
Right.
food, you know, at the time, oh, free hookah, whatever. You know, it's just like, okay, I have to really like, Chanda, is this what you really want?
Yeah.
And sometimes, even when I was dating, like I said before, there were guys I was dating that I've known for years. But it was no consistency there. But I knew what I was gonna deal with and what I was not gonna deal with. So once I saw the inconsistency, all right, I'm gonna have to push you to the side.
Right.
I'm gonna try something else. Or
Right.
like they say, dating is you can date anybody. If you're not in a relationship, you are single.
Yeah.
So it's okay to go out.
Right.
As long as there's purpose with that.
Right.
Now we're just hanging out as friends, whatever. But you know, most times, 9 times out of 10, most guys who are attracted to you are not just trying to hang out with you.
Right.
They're either there for the right thing or the wrong thing.
Right.
Even if they are for the right thing, it might be a good guy, but he might not be that good guy for you.
For you, right.
And I like, don't get me wrong, I've run into some good guys who had the potential of being a husband, but it wasn't working for me.
Right.
And I may have not been it for them, because sometimes it's not always the guys. Sometimes it might be the woman. So I had to understand sometimes with certain dates or guys I've dealt with, you know, they may have been more ready than me or what I thought. You know, it's just like, okay, that's too much.
Yeah,
I didn't say all that.
I like you, but I think you move a little fast.
Yeah, you moving too. I'm not there yet. You know what I'm saying? So especially after my relationship with Brooke's father, you know, I was still kind of like, okay, I'm good, but I'm still not good.
Like it was like you had like you was okay to date again, but you still had your reservations because of, and it wasn't like y'all had a super toxic situation or anything. It was just like one of those situations that you wanted to work at that time,
right?
And it didn't work. So now you like, dang, like now you start to look at yourself. What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Why aren't you not wanting to move when I got
along with the family? You know,
I'm cool with the fam.
Yeah, it's like I love it. And to this day, I still love, because that's Brooke. You know, at the end of the day, we always gonna be like this because of Brooke. But at the end of the day, they always treated me like a daughter or a granddaughter or a sister, or you know, I didn't really have no issues.
So it was like it was hard to walk away from everything.
Yes,
it's easy to walk away from stuff when it's really toxic.
Yeah,
the family crazy.
Right.
But stuff when it's just like, dang, everything could be like
everybody was loving.
What's going on?
They didn't treat me. Then they to this day they still don't. Of course, there's boundaries now,
right?
Because
we're adults. And respectfully, there's just things that have to be drawn.
Exactly.
They did that before he started dating or you got married. Like that's just because okay, you're her dad, I'm her mom. We were still friends, so we can do that. Like, and it's healthy. You can do it in a very healthy, copacetic, easy going way.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So like even okay, so clearly you're married now. So obviously people think now. I don't know. People don't necessarily think that once you get married, it's all fun and rainbows. Obviously people know that it's work, but it's still a lot of work. You're still two individual peoples. Yes, you come as one spiritually, and God should be at the center and the first and foremost, but there's still boundaries that you have to create even when you're married, right?
Oh, definitely.
So how did y'all have those conversations? Like how do you converse with somebody? Like obviously it just comes with communicating, right? And try and find, and not just communicating, but also comprehension and understanding of the person you're communicating with. But how do you establish those boundaries? Like, how do you even talk to yourself and be like, okay, this is my husband, I don't like this. How do I talk to him about this? Or like, how do you know one of your boundaries may just be something traumatic to you that you really should get fit? Right. So like, how do you communicate that?
We've had situations like that, but like you said, you have to be willing to take heed on what you're doing. You have to be able to compromise certain things as long as there's understanding.
Right.
But I had to teach myself, because you know, some of us come off a little, I don't mean to, but you know, I had a homie ask me, "Are you in the military?" Because you know, shout out to her, but I was like, no, it's just the structure. It's just I'm very passionate, but I have come off, and I think that was just something I had to work on because of years of
like having to build that wall.
Yeah. So it's like I dropped the wall, but at the same time, I still had that like. So why, I had to
So it's
learn to
like you
stop coming
dropped
out
that, and it was
confrontational.
crazy because shout out to Evangelist Tanya ALRC. She
Yes.
talked about walls on Sunday, how you can have different kinds of walls, and but it's like I feel like in that between time, like you got married, you dropped the main wall that needed to be dropped
Right.
in order for you to love and be loved, but
Mhm.
you still had kind of like that glass wall, like I can see through it, but it's still there.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
definitely.
saying? And I feel like a lot of people don't understand like that's a wall that's concerning that can cause damage to a marriage too. If you don't see it, if because
Mhm.
it's glass, right? So you may
Right.
not see that it's something
You
there
can
that's
walk right
keeping
into
you
it.
right, that's keeping you from projecting forward.
Mhm.
So I feel like what a lot of people, and that's just in anything, but especially in marriages, that there's you say, "Oh, I love you. Oh, we did this. We worked on that. We fixed that." And again, I'm not married, but when God gives you something that you kind of just have knowledge of, you can
Mhm.
get advice from anybody. So let's just
Right.
let that be known. But when you have that glass wall, because I feel like I still have a glass wall. Like I say that I'm ready to date, and at times I'm like,
And do.
no, it.
Mhm.
So like that glass wall is just like, okay, I know that this is still something that like I know that it's there, and I know that bothers me, or I know that it's there, and I know that I need to find a way to get that out of here. You know what I'm saying? But it
Right.
just I feel like for your case and for Nick's case, y'all just found the right person to help y'all. Because with a
We found
glass wall, you don't want to
structure.
shatter it.
Yeah,
That's something you want to just take the seams out of there,
yeah.
unbuckle it,
Help me.
bring it down like a window
Yeah.
of a car. You want to be able to bring that down and
Exactly.
then lock it.
And that's what we had to learn. We had to learn. I mean, we still adjust and learn because we still have to grow in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like with me, before I even got married, I had to learn to stop shutting down because
Mm-hmm.
when I used to shut down, and it take one time for you to really like trigger me,
Mm-hmm.
everything blow up.
Yeah, you
Everybody
just
just get out my way because
yeah.
now I'm about
Get
to
up my
blow the
face,
whole
Grace.
house down at this point. So I had to learn first, just with any situation,
Yeah.
before I got into this marriage. Cause I always hear from married couples. Shout out to y'all that's been married for years. The first thing they say, communication, communication, communication. I'm like, okay, all right, I
We
hear
gonna
you,
talk
but
love.
it's real. Like you can't be sugarcoating nothing.
Yeah.
That's the thing some of us have issues with because we worried about hurting their feelings, and I had to stop doing that. Even
Yeah.
with my own husband, it's like I can't worry about your feelings right now. I still
Right.
have to put out there what I
What
feel
the
is right,
problem
what
is,
is wrong,
yeah.
why I reacted this way,
It's
what
just
is my
how you say it.
yes, how I say it. I had to learn to do that, y'all, because he might take it like okay,
Why you
but
coming at me like that? And I
yeah,
ain't gonna lie, y'all, me and my sisters, like, they're a little more rough than me. But we do all have a tendency to like say things straight out the gate and not really
think about
think
how
about
we said
how
it.
we say it. And that's why one thing about me, I'll tell anybody nowadays, I'm a sensitive person, I'm
Yeah.
emotional. But I can tell anybody can tell me anything all day. And that's because I'm somebody who likes to be talked to a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So I naturally have to learn how to speak to people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I talk to you in a way that's cool, calm, and copacetic, you can't then try and pivot the conversation of what I want to
Right.
talk to you about and say, well, you came at me like this, you came at me like that.
Right.
That's not even gonna be a factor because we're gonna get to the nitty gritty. This is my issue.
Exactly.
But if I'm coming at you, rah rah, emasculating you, disrespecting you,
They're
you're not gonna
listen.
hear me, right? You know what I'm
We had
saying?
to learn it too. I had to realize I'm still a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a man.
It is okay, ladies,
You can
to
be
be the
soft.
woman. It's okay to subject to your husband or to the man that you can
Right.
see to be your husband.
It
It's
is.
okay. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you
Right.
dependent
A
on the man, a
pushover.
pushover. You are in the Bible. You are the woman. It is
Exactly.
okay.
And life
It's
would be
okay.
so much better when you just talk to your husband, even if somebody, your fiance or whoever, if y'all, or the man who knows that you are his
Mm-hmm.
wife and he is showing you he is making those moves.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to even practice then.
Right.
You don't want to just feel like, oh, I'm this rah rah, and then you go right into this marriage and be like, oh,
I'm gonna fix
hold
it.
on,
No, because that's
no,
going. He ain't even gonna want to marry you like
yeah,
that.
no, he gonna be like, what did I get myself into? Like, I
Right.
don't know if I want to do this because she's doing too much. Like,
Yeah. She don't know how to
no,
talk to me.
yeah. So even when it comes to I'm gonna be real. When it comes to the most uncomfortable conversations, that's when it's a test.
Yeah.
When you have to talk about things you didn't think you would ever have
Have
to
to talk.
even bring up to anybody.
Yeah.
Not even family members. Not even your mama, your sister. Your sister. You can tell your sister almost everything, and then certain things just like, oh God, this gonna be between me and you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Like,
But
can we just hold it
yeah,
down?
let's hold it down.
PLP.
Let's hold it because I ain't there. But that's when you know when you can have a constructive, real conversation with your spouse
Mm-hmm.
without any judgment,
Yeah.
without any type of side eye, like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? because like I said, sometimes we can hold shame and it's like, I don't know, you might look at me different. I had that issue,
Mm-hmm.
when it came to certain things in my past, or why I'm triggered to this, or what
Yeah.
I dealt with, especially like if you had ups and downs before
Yeah.
you got married or in the relationship.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I told you about this, but yet you did what I told you I don't like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes they can also build a wall too, and now y'all have to work on, all right, if I'm deciding to stay here and work things through, I have to let that back down and work through it, because if I plan to be with you for the rest of my life,
I don't need to have to filter
I
anything.
can't filter nothing, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you always have to be real with your spouse, because guess what? You don't want them looking stupid, because don't have me out here looking dumb.
Right.
That's going to be a whole different issue.
Then we really gonna have a problem.
We're going to have some smoke. Real talk. Like, so, yeah.
Okay, so what was like, and obviously in between being not ready for marriage and learning how to correct certain things about yourself, and then where you are now and still where we're going to be growing to, what were like some pivots in life that you had to take that created like a different hunger for God, or like in your faith? Like, what was it that made you be like, okay, God, I need your direction. Okay, God, I need your plan. Okay, God, like, how did God how did God put his hand in your heart and in your mind and your soul to turn you to a place to make you understand what needed to be done? Like, and how did that draw you closer to him? Because I know when God started working on me and started making me look at me, it only made me want to run closer to him, because it's like, oh my gosh, you're opening my eyes.
Right.
So how did that, like, how was that pivotal in like certain adjustments and changes you made for the flourishing and the blessings that you started to have come to you?
Okay, so I had to stop leaning more on my worry.
Mm-hmm.
I would lean a lot on worrying too much.
Mm.
Trying to figure it all out by myself, knowing I know better.
Right.
Knowing I can do more with my faith.
Right.
Knowing I can do more reading my word. Knowing I can do more with trying to understand the word, especially when I'm reading it. Because y'all know sometimes King James versions, you reading it, but it's like, do you really understand what
Are you
you're reading?
understanding what you're reading?
Because
Right.
it is an everyday life now. From what we read, stuff happens that has happened in the Bible is happening in real life.
Under
It's
the
nothing
sun.
new. Nothing new. So I had to learn, like, all right, things are looking good, but I'm still not happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just, God, what I need to do? Like, what?
How am I?
How am I gonna handle this
Right.
situation, or how
Right.
am I gonna handle this situation? Because clearly, the way I'm doing it, it's just not cutting for me.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's not working for me. So I had to actually go through certain things to where it's like, all right, it's like a domino effect. Like, oh, okay, this is not going the way I wanted to go. Okay, now this is flopping. All right. Nothing is really moving for me when
So
it
who
came to
can you
my
turn
gift.
to?
Yeah, I can't turn to nobody. I can't turn to my man, because he can only do so much.
Right.
Because even I have to tell him too. I have to tell him all the time, like, I know you want to fix everything, but you can't.
Yeah.
When it comes to my faith, when it comes to what I deal with in my heart, what I deal with emotionally, internally, spiritually, certain things you just can't do.
Yeah.
All you can do is pray with me and pray for me.
Right.
And vice versa. That's just
certain
what it
things
is.
we can't control.
Yeah, I just can't. So I realized, it's like, God, I know I need to do this. I know you've been getting on me. You've been speaking through others to me. I know I need to get back in my calling. I know I need to stop doing this. I had to stop, trying to hold on and harbor on to certain things that I know wasn't beneficial for me.
Right.
In a positive way, or when it came to my faith. So I knew I had to, like, all right, I had to calm down. Like,
Yeah.
God, this is what I need to do. All right. I just had to wash my hands and just let him have it.
And let him have it. Yeah.
Because me worrying and, oh, how I'm going to do this and how I'm going to do that, I'm stressing myself out.
Yeah. And you're going to wake up stressed the next day anyway.
Yeah. And I knew that was a problem. When I'm waking up still kind of like, I ain't even get my day started yet.
Yeah, and you already worried.
Yeah, already over it.
And it's crazy, because that's one thing I literally just posted. One of the scriptures I posted on the reel was, just not, God doesn't want us to worry. Like, he does things and has things set for us already as it is. And so I did want to drop these couple nuggets when we were kind of pre-talking about like dating and stuff. Everybody has these ideas of who they want to date, especially being a Christian woman, right? We assume that, and granted, of course, you want a man of God. If he don't, for me personally, I'm not dealing with a man who don't believe in God, okay? I'm just sorry, and nothing against those who don't, but I'm not dating you if you don't, respectfully. But even those guys aren't the most perfect men. But even still, to my Christian girlies out there, if God sends you somebody who may not seemingly be someone who's always in a church or may not be the most Bible savvy at the moment, I had to learn this myself too, because whoever God has for me is who He has for me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, and this goes for the men too, right?
Yes.
If somebody is for you, if God says this is who it is, and you might be like, wait, they don't go to church as much, or they don't do this, or they don't do that.
Right.
In 1 Corinthians 7:14, it says, "For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband." So as long as you are in right standing with God, if that person is for you, you're supposed to bring them right along with you up to God. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Period. And then another thing was Isaiah 40:29-31. But I'm going to just, everybody should know this one.
Mm-hmm.
Just a snippet of it. "They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength.
Mm-hmm.
You shall mount up on wings as eagles as soar." Okay, so in the midst, turtle, that's what you look like. So even in the midst of like you're waiting and in the midst of trying to figure out like, when am I going to be a wife? When is this going to work out? When is this going to be here? When is this going to be that? Wearing all that. Just know that God is your strength.
Definitely.
Just know that your belief alone can move mountains. Yes. What does it say? All you need is faith as big as a mustard seed.
Exactly.
And the mustard tree itself grows ginormous. Yes. So as long as you have just a little bit of faith and you give God a real yes, everything of your heart desire can be bestowed upon you.
It happens. It's real. Because like you said, us growing up in the church, I've dated a church boy. And like you said, it doesn't always necessarily have to be somebody from the church. It don't matter if they feel like you their wife or this, like, and that. A man is still a man. First. Right. A woman is still a woman. Mm-hmm. We are still human beings. We still have a fleshly soul sometimes. And you just have to be able to see and pray on if this is what it is. Because if we all in our feelings thinking, oh, okay, they're good people. Oh, they in the church. They do this. They do that. And, oh, this is it.
Right.
Because they have their own demons too.
Everybody, whether you in the church or in the house, still have things to work on. Your relationship with God isn't based upon your church. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, if you are in the Bible itself, if you know God and things like that, and you are not a part of a ministry or a church or something like that, you are considered a sheep that is scattered, a lost sheep. You know what I'm saying? So you still need to. I would prefer that the person that God has for me will be a man that is a part of a ministry or willing to join a ministry, or you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, just because we need to be on the same page, we need to be equally yoked. Mm-hmm. And if you have somebody that's a little further behind than you, but God said this is your person, then it is your duty to bring them closer to God. Teach them. Don't force nothing on anybody, but teach them how to be what God needs them to be.
Right.
So I did want to say you did good, sister girl. Any other closing remarks? Anything you want to say on this episode of A Woman's Work?
I think I do. Okay. All I want to say, I just want to encourage every woman who are, still feeling discouraged here and there. Like, when is it my time? Mm-hmm. Even you, sis. Because y'all know y'all. She can't take nothing serious sometimes. I swear. But, just stay encouraged, because I'm trying to tell y'all, when I heard them 13 years, I thought it would never come. And it flew by like a lightning bolt.
A second later, I was with my bro, getting rings, planning engagements. We had her whole engagement. We had her thinking it was for my mom for Mother's Day. She's like, "Oh, Mom, look." I'm like, "No, you idiot.
Out here looking crazy.
For you. Grab the roses and the cards."
Look. And then I'm like, this big old marry me balloons. And I'm just looking at the cards like, oh, really? Like, I'm just looking like boo-boo the fool. Reading is fundamental, guys. But I just wasn't paying attention, so don't judge me. Charge it to my head, not my heart. But, stay encouraged, because you never know, the right one is going to come at the right time. Yes. It's okay to date. It's okay. But if you see red flags, you ain't got to hold on to that. Don't settle. Mm-hmm. She cutoff game strong. It's okay to have a good cutoff game, but sometimes it's good to have patience, mm-hmm. because at the end of the day, everybody is still human.
Everybody's human.
Everybody have flaws. And some of them might not know no better.
And if they don't know no better and they don't want to learn, that's when I flee.
Yeah, that's when you just, all right, I'm going to let you figure it out by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
get out of here.
I'm going to just have to skedaddle, and call it a day. Like, I'm not about to play with you. I'm not about to play with you, and I'm not about to play with myself. Mm-hmm. You have to love yourself more. That's one thing I had to learn. Love you first.
And love you more.
Yeah, love you more. Because at the end of the day, I'm telling you, you came on this earth alone. You still going to leave this earth alone. So you need to learn to be happy within yourself and trust God and everything that He has for you. And that's just that on it.
Period.
Period.
I like that, sister girl. Well, that's it. She was so nervous, y'all. She did so good. I'm telling y'all, these are gems. Like, I'm giving y'all the hidden gems that y'all used to listening to all these rappers and YouTubers and all this stuff who give you surface level information, the same information here everywhere. I'm giving y'all real life experience with people I've watched go through stuff, got lessons from, right? Got lessons from, got advice from, and good advice too. Wise counsel. Okay, so I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank my sister girl, Chanda. She's hey, we call her Chanda or Chanda. Chanda. Sean Letrice, Chanda Vaz. Shout out to my girl for coming on More to Life podcast with me. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, follow, resend it to somebody, share, repost,
tag your girl,
tag your girl,
More to Life,
More to Life, and this is NT with Sean Letrice on More to Life podcast, MTLP, and we checking out. And classic. And you know, be outside with it.
And we out of here. A good night.
Ricky on the beat.